What's up, everyone? We hope you had a great day in the market today, but even if you didn't, hopefully this video can make tomorrow a green day. But we do have a lot to talk about today. The market is actually on an 8-day winning streak, which is the longest in about 2 years. Disney stock just reported earnings, and on top of that, we have the market at a very crucial pivot point right now. We have Powell speaking tomorrow, and we have even more earnings to cover. We have a lot of great setups in today's video, and towards the end, we have a big money $1.5 million trade you won't want to miss. It's a crazy one. But with that being said, Tom, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, I'll say this. The market was pretty good today, but overall there was a lot of consolidation, right? So we ended up closing green on the SPY, and we kept that streak up, which we'll talk about in a little while. But Mike, I feel like there was a lot of hype around Disney earnings this week, and I'll say this, Disney's looking fantastic here in after hours, running up above $85, which was a pretty good resistance, and now that they're breaking out, I'm watching for them to possibly run up towards 88 again, and then 90 if they can even push there. So I'm loving this move with Disney so far. I think there's some hope for Disney in the future. Looking at the earnings report, it's actually pretty good here. So they beat on EPS, which is pretty nice. Okay, they came in at 82 cents versus a 70-cent expectation. The Disney Plus subscribers beat, coming in at 150.2 million and 148.15 million was expected. Now, you could probably see I skipped the revenue for a reason, right? They missed on it just a little bit. They were expected to hit at 21.33 billion. It came in at 21.24. Now, I will say this. Disney is going back in the right direction. Under Bob Iger, it seems like they've been starting to do a little bit better here, and overall, the market is liking what they're seeing. Now, they did see a decrease in ad revenue, which was a big negative from this report, but the Disney Plus subscribers beating expectations to me is awesome, and one thing that I heard that was great for them is their parks, or they now call it their experience division, saw jumps of 13% in revenue over the quarter. So that was fantastic there, and their parks are doing good. Disney Plus is doing pretty good. It's just that ad revenue overall from some of those, you could say, TV stations that they picked up, like ABC Network and others, they might even sell. You know, Iger actually hinted at that a while ago, but it seems like they're coming back from the grave, Mike. They're doing pretty good in after hours today.
They're coming back from the dead, Tom, right? Love to see it. Now, here's the thing. Disney stock is currently in one of its worst drawdowns in history, as it's off around 60% from its all-time high. And Disney is at a point, you know, especially before this earnings report, where it was like literally do or die, because it was at the same level it was at in the COVID low, and it's been at the same level for basically since 2014. But this earnings report can really start to change sentiment. You know, when anyone has brought up Disney stock over the past 2 years, you instantly think of just bad performance, right? It's just been brutal. But this earnings report can be the start of something new. So far, the stock is looking good in after hours, and I think if this move continues, not only will it bring in some new bulls, but it also might cause some of the Disney shorts to get squeezed out.
Oh, that's a good point, Mike. Yeah, those shorts could start getting squeezed down here. And imagine, you know, if they've been shorting on the way down, they probably don't even mind it. They're like, oh, I'll take profits here. Why not? But yeah, Disney's doing pretty good. I like that long-term support. We've talked about it a lot. It goes back to the COVID low. It goes back to 2014. And that doesn't mean that's the reason why their earnings did good, right? But I've been loving that support and picking up some shares down here. And of course, we have a premium play on it too that is doing pretty good. So I'm liking the move overall right now, Mike. And hey, the more the merrier for Disney, right? You cannot replace Mickey Mouse. People always say that, and I'm going to stick with that here. I think that under Iger, Disney's going to do a lot better here over the next couple of years, and what they've been doing has been starting to work out. And don't forget, they have Penn Gaming with their Bet ESPN that's coming out here over the next month. That's going to be really fun to see, and maybe that'll even be something that boosts them up too.
There we go. Now, Tom, one thing I want to talk about really quickly is SPY and the overall market. So the past week has been fantastic for SPY. We've seen a great uptrend, but when you zoom out a little bit, the market has been making continuously lower highs, and these are two pretty big conflicting signals, right? You have lower highs, plus a great recent uptrend. And a lot of people are like, all right, what's next? And that's where my next point comes into play, and that is the weighting of Apple and Microsoft combined. Basically, Apple and Microsoft are single-handedly controlling the market right now. Apple and Microsoft make up 14.4% of the market, or SPY, and this is the highest weighting that any two top stocks have had since 1980. So long story short, if you want to know what the market's doing, look at Apple and Microsoft and you'll get a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, Mike. Apple and Microsoft, we always talk about them being powerhouses. And of course, with the highest weightings, I mean, they have to be the biggest powerhouses out there right now. Now, some people might say, well, what about the NASDAQ, right? But hey, with the SPY, 14.4%, that is huge in the S&P 500. So you're right. Those stocks are huge on watch. And what has been running up a lot lately? Microsoft. Before we started talking tonight, Mike, you actually pointed out to me that they're almost up to all-time highs again. And at least on a close basis, they actually made all-time highs. So that's interesting. But that all-time high is somewhere very close, like 366. And we're about, one or two more green days away from that, unless tomorrow's a rocket ship. So maybe they'll keep breaking out because these tech stocks seem unstoppable right now. And considering how negative everybody's been thinking about the market lately, it's pretty weird to say that Microsoft is at all-time highs considering the pullbacks out of everything else.
Exactly. It is very weird. Like, it closed at all-time highs today, and it's something that I think a lot of people have overlooked, right? I think that's the best way to say it. But then again, the market is on an 8-day winning streak, and we haven't seen a winning streak this long since November of 2021. So that's something as well.
Yeah, an 8-day winning streak is fantastic, and this is a chart kind of showing the 7-day winning streak from yesterday, but today, the SPY closed up 0.07%. I mean, it just barely squeaked in, but it counts. So 8 days in a row, and hey, if Disney's doing good tonight, and if Microsoft keeps moving the way it is tomorrow, and Apple, well, hey, we might be in for day 9 maybe. So let's hope that it keeps going, Mike. But it's awesome to see that we're on such a good streak. It's very rare to see a streak like this. Let's go to the SPY. Let's go to that daily chart because you can see like the candle was red itself, but from yesterday's close, it was actually green. So, some people might say, well, it actually wasn't green today, but it was compared to where it closed yesterday. Compared to where it opened today, it was actually red.
Yep, but either way, the streak continues higher, so keep a close eye on this going forward. A lot of times when we see the market do this, it's not like we see a full-on, crash afterwards. It's more so like a period of, flatness or just, like a slight pullback. I know it's easy to hear the words, a 7 or 8 day winning streak and think everything's going to have a giant pullback, but, almost every time we've seen this happen in the past, it's more so, it's just a lot more tame than people think.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Mike. Like, people always expect, a huge crash to come in or, right now, if the SPY was going to move down, they would expect, we're going to get to 410 or something, right? But realistically, it's probably better to target, 430 or 428, 425 supports. Some of these big areas where there was a lot of touches here on the way down could maybe be some big areas of support. And I'll say this, Mike, over the past couple days, the market's been kind of breaking out above this channel out of the trend line. We go look at QQQ. It's actually well above the trend, but it's running into a huge resistance at this 373 area. So we got to keep these areas on watch here for tomorrow, because if there's a breakout, that could be great for some bulls. But if these reject, it could be a pretty red day, and maybe that'll end the streak.
No doubt. And then, with tomorrow, we also have Powell speaking again and some more earnings on the schedule. So let's get right into them.
Yeah, so Powell's first. Today, he gave opening remarks, and it was really nothing. I'll be honest. He just gave the opening remarks. He was done. He didn't say anything about the economy. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, he's speaking at a policy panel discussion. So I think that he might be giving a little bit more info there. If he gets some questions about like let's say like
Inflation.
yeah, the I word, right? Or maybe even the R word, like recession again. I sure hope he doesn't say that, but yeah, either way, I'm sure he'll have a lot of talk, and he'll probably be talking about inflation, what the Feds are gonna do, and everything like that. But enough with boring Powell for right now, Mike. What about those earnings, right? Tomorrow's not like the craziest day ever, but in after hours, Plug Power, Unity, TTD, Win is even pretty big, and then we even have some marijuana stocks like Aora Cannabis reporting, so pretty big ones. And in pre-market, LI is a pretty big Chinese, I think it's a Chinese EV stock. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, though.
No, you're right, Tom. You're right. But yeah, definitely some more earnings on the schedule. Disney was definitely the star of the show for this week, though. But with that being said, let's get right into the fun stuff for today. And those are some setups and predictions for tomorrow. One stock I'm watching very closely is NIO. This is a Chinese EV stock, and it had a decent day today. But just a couple days ago, we saw a pretty big money trade with this one. For calls that have some time, it's also at a pretty crucial support right around this like $8 area, you can say, but you could even draw the support all the way down to like 7. But either way, this is a pretty big zone where buyers have came in the past, and we are starting to see China trying to boost up their economy, but it hasn't been the best so far. But either way, I think the risk to reward with NIO to the upside is pretty favorable for the short term.
Yeah, I like this a lot, Mike. This big money play is awesome, and it's starting to do really well now. So I'll definitely keep it on the radar. It's one of my favorite support plays at the moment right now. So I love it. We keep looking at it on the live every morning as well. With my first play of the day, I'm going with Boeing to the upside. The cruise lines, the airlines did actually really well today. And with Boeing, I'm actually watching for them to break 192. Now, they don't usually follow, airlines directly, but if the airlines do well, that's great. I see them starting to move. So if Boeing breaks this level 192 tomorrow, I'm going to watch them to the upside. And they even do a lot of stuff with defense, but either way, it's more of a day trade and a scalp anyways. So none of that really matters. Just make sure it breaks that resistance, and then, obviously keep a tight stop, maybe 190, 180, somewhere close to there.
All righty, good stuff. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is QQQ, and it's actually to the downside. So it has had a huge run over the past week or so, and I am expecting a pullback going forward. I'm not expecting a full-on crash, but I am definitely expecting some profit taking to come in here. And then, Tom, you also have it pointed out perfectly on the chart. The two arrows pointing out a double top right here, and it's been making lower highs as well. So I just think the risk reward for the downside for the short term is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it any better there. That double top's awesome, and until it breaks there, I think I'll be a little bit bearish, especially with how much that we've went up. So I'm kind of with you, Mike. With my next play, and now I know I talked about Boeing maybe following those airlines, right? I'm going with LUV, which is Southwest Airlines. This might surprise people a little bit, but Southwest Airlines is actually bouncing. I actually have to go to a weekly chart. That's how big this support is. It's a support that we have seen bounces on since 2001, or actually more specifically, 2000, December of 2000. So, Mike, I'm definitely sitting here watching this support. It's sitting right on there. We're getting a couple moves up, and this doesn't have to be a crazy play, right? It's kind of like NIO. You can place a stop loss right under that support, maybe target 27, 30, 32 to the upside, even higher if it starts to really go. But hopefully these airlines start moving a little bit. Hopefully those yields come down and help out consumers. And I think that we'll be set with these airlines to recover.
There we go. Now, one thing I want to talk about really quickly is that today marks the first official live Q&A and education session hosted by StockedUp in the Discord. Basically, later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be doing a live Q&A with our premium members, and we're going to have a great time. It's the first official StockedUp live event, and we're going to have a lot of great questions and a lot of great strategies, tips, and all that good stuff talked about tonight. This event is for premium members only, so if you want in on the action, check out that first link in the description in the comments down below. We're also going to be talking a lot about SurgeBot and all of the other new recent features that we have and how to use them to their fullest potential. So come join us tonight if you want. It's going to be a great time, but back to the video. So, Tom, it is now about that time for the momentum plays, and with the first one for tonight, we have Coinbase to the upside.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this huge overhead resistance right around 89.25, 89.50 on Coinbase. If they break there, then watch those calls.
All right, and then with the next one, we have Tesla, and this one's been all over the place lately, but it's actually to the downside.
Yeah, TSLA, if they break under 218, go ahead and watch those puts.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Amazon for both directions.
AMZN, yeah, if they break under 141.30, then go ahead and look at those puts. You can see there was a nice double, almost triple bottom there today. At the same time, though, if they're able to get back above 142.50, then eye up the calls.
Perfect. All right, so we have the upside level for calls, we have the downside level for puts, and that is for Amazon. And then don't forget about the downside levels with Tesla, and then the upside levels for Coinbase. These are only trades if they break the levels Tom listed. If they don't, then skip the trade and find a new opportunity. These are momentum plays only. But it is now about that time for today's big money $1.56 million trade of the day. And we are looking at a crazy one today, and that is LABU. So this is basically a biotechnology stock that is super crazy. It is leveraged by 3 times, and basically the more the biotechnology sector goes up, the better this stock will do. Today, the big money traded $1.56 million worth of call options on this one, more specifically the 3 strike calls that expire on January 19th of 2024. This trade is like the definition of high risk, high reward. It has potential, but I'm going to say this. You have to be able to handle the heat with this one. There's a lot of reward, but then again, if the biotechnology industry does not do well over the coming months, this play will go to zero.
Yeah, exactly. It could end up doing pretty bad, but at the same time, it's a biotech play. You would think maybe the big money knows something. Maybe it'll be favorable economic conditions for this. Maybe there'll be another random disease with some snake thing that goes on, you never know, right? So, but I would just say this, the big money probably knows something's going on, right? Or they're looking for some favorable economic conditions for these stocks or something along that line. And keep in mind, we're also getting into that winter time, right? Maybe that'll help some of these types of stocks a little bit, but I definitely like the play, Mike. I like the $3 strike. It's just in the money here, and I think it's looking pretty good to the upside. Now today, LabU had a pretty bad red candle, and it is 3x leverage. So like you said, it's one of those plays that if you get into it, just realize that we're going to need an uptrend pretty quickly.
Alrighty, well, either way, keep a close eye on it going forward. It's one of those crazy plays, and the big money is definitely not putting $1.56 million into this trade by random chance, right? Clearly, they're seeing something with this one, and as we all know with biotechnology stocks, news moves them quite a bit as well as any, pharmaceutical breakthroughs. So keep a close eye on this one going forward. But with everything being said, Tom, we have the market on an 8-day green streak. We have a couple more earnings sprinkled in for the rest of the week. And Powell speaks tomorrow as well. So I think we're set for another exciting day.
Yeah, don't forget about Powell at 2 p.m. tomorrow. I'm sure everybody's going to be interested in watching that one, so be ready. But it might be another nothing burger like today. Just, keep your eyes on it at 2 p.m. Eastern. But let's go tomorrow. The market has been on a pretty good run lately. I'm definitely looking for a pullback, but at the same time, if there is another breakout, I'm going to play it, right? I'm going to be adaptable. If there's a nice run, then obviously, why go against the momentum? And of course, I'm going to be watching Disney. Still sitting around 87.44 right now. Hopefully this one can maybe get up towards 90. That would be a pretty good move.
There we go. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, if you want to join us live tonight, check out that first link in the description in the comments down below. The event will be at 9 p.m. Eastern time, but we are also going to do these events every single week. So even if you missed tonight's, there will be more opportunities going forward. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's have an amazing rest of the week.